Let's get to the top story this morning. The Attorney General acknowledged something that has been clear for weeks. There was no real voter fraud in this election. Bill Barr, in a rare break from the president, told the Associated Press that the Justice Department has not found any evidence of voter fraud that would overturn an election that Joe Biden won. He also said there was nothing to substantiate any claims about the wild theories surrounding voting systems that Trump and his allies keep saying were rigged. This is the Attorney General, Bill Barr. Barr was actually at the White House on Tuesday for what the White House stressed was a previously scheduled meeting with the chief of staff. It is unclear if he met with Trump, who has yet to react to Barr, though it's pretty clear how he feels if you scroll through his Twitter. Not happy. Barr's remarks prompted a swift response from Trump's legal team, led by Rudy Giuliani, who wrote in part, with the greatest respect to the Attorney General, his opinion appears to be without knowledge or investigation of substantial irregularities of evidence of systemic fraud. Last night, the Department of Justice stated that despite some efforts to the contrary, it has not stopped investigating election-related fraud and stressed that if it receives credible allegations of fraud, it will continue to pursue these types of cases. To date, the Trump campaign has filed more than 40 lawsuits pertaining to the election, and so far, none of them have found a single instance of fraud.
Well, and Willie, what are they? 1 for 38, 1 for 39. This was like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the mid-'70s. These guys just can't win a lawsuit. But think about what Attorney General Barr did. And I've had some friends call me up saying, oh, you look at what Rudy Giuliani's saying outside of the courtroom. You look at what Sidney Powell's saying outside of the courtroom. There's a lot of there. And what I always told them was, I said, look and see what they're willing to say outside of a courthouse, and then what they're willing to put in the pleadings in federal court. Because those are two completely different things. One is just BS. One's just a press conference where you're just trying to stir up a cloud of dust. But when you put your name on a pleading and you allege widespread voter fraud in a pleading inside a federal court, well, my friend, you've just set yourself up for sanctions. So that's always been the real tell here. They'd say, oh, widespread voting fraud outside the courthouse. But even Rudy Giuliani won't claim it inside the White House because he knows he doesn't have the evidence. He knows it's a lie. He knows there'll be sanctions, knows he might be disbarred. And so you just go up and down the food chain. And whether you're talking about the Attorney General of the United States, whether you're talking about the Secretary of State for Georgia, whether you're talking about the governor of Arizona or the Maricopa County Republican Board of Electors, or whether you're talking about a single bureaucrat on a local level who refuses to break the law and not certify the vote. These Republicans all talk a big game, but when it's time to actually undermine the election, when it's time to actually put their legal future on the line, suddenly they do the right thing. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.